Hey everyone, welcome to 5 More Minutes, the show where two friends relive their childhoods, or, in some cases, learn about everything they missed out on. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Scott.
That was our mature intro.
That was a mature intro. It just sounded like you talked slower.
I was trying to you know.
Sure. Yeah, totally. I know.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a joke.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's the difference between Batman and a shoplifter?
I don't know. What is the difference?
Batman can go into a store without robbing.
Uh,
Like his little
Interesting.
buddy. Yeah.
Shoplifters, they always be robbing though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're basically, you know, all their names are Robin. I
Sure.
don't know where I was going with
Yeah.
that.
Saw the wheels start turning like halfway through the sentence.
It
Like, okay.
it didn't really. I don't know what I was doing. I
Right.
don't. Yeah. Bad joke. How was your day?
It was all right. It's been busy. Like this whole week will be busy. You want to take a guess at how many people showed up to baseball tryouts?
15.
6.
Oh,
Yeah.
did the other team steal all your players again?
Yes, they did actually. And
Oh,
we have 10 registered, so 4 were not there, but still 10. It's like one guy gets
that's
hurt
like,
and you're screwed.
yeah, two guys get hurt, you're really screwed.
Yeah, 2 guys get hurt, you're done, basically.
Yeah.
So we might not have a team this year. So
Oh, well, you
yeah,
might have more time to go golfing.
maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
Before my surgery, I get cut open.
Oh, yeah.
Metal.
We love a good scalpel.
With some knives, medical
Yeah.
equipment,
Huh.
drugs.
So how was your tryouts then? What'd you even do?
We just did like normal stuff. We hit them some like ground balls. Pretty much everyone took time in the infield. Everyone took time in the outfield. Hit some fly balls, ground balls, and then through batting practice. And after that, we're just like, well, I mean, normally we'd get a lot more ratcheting down, like, maybe time some running to first base and things like that. But if there are only 6 people, they kind of all make it by default.
Dang. How did
Yeah.
those other people steal all your people?
Because they are like a travel ball team, and their big claim is that they are going to put students in front of college scouts. But last year they like lost a ton, and we won districts and went to state. So it's like, who will you really get noticed if you're just on a crappy team that loses? I don't know.
Idaho logic.
And it costs more to play with them, so I don't really understand it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Gen Z stuff.
Gen Z stuff. Can't understand the kids these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was your day?
Um. It was okay. My students were supposed to have pre-writing done for their essay that's due Friday.
Right.
And I think that in both of those two classes, only about 10 people total had the pre-writing done. I partially don't like the way I'm teaching this, but I've never taught a specific model of argumentation before, so I didn't really know how to teach it.
Yeah.
So their pre-writing was like a packet that asks them to evaluate their two sources and then their own argument, but a lot of them are having trouble trying to connect all that together, even though it's not hard. I'm also having trouble explaining some of the things because it's weird. Like there's qualifiers, warrants, like all these weird words. Like qualifiers are things that like limit your argument. So saying something like it may be one of the best movies instead of this is the best movie.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And then I had to try to explain that warrants were assumptions, and I was like drawing graphics and stuff. But yeah, so their essays due Friday. It's only 800 to 900 words. So it's not a lot, but stuff is hard for them these days.
That's true. And
yeah, but they did all like my shoes, and they all kind of noticed on their own. And a couple, well, they knew I was doing it. And some of them were like, "Miss, your shoes still smell like coffee." And I was like, "I know."
They could smell them from there, or did they put their nose?
Well, I mean, I can smell. No, I was like walking around the room, and they could just like smell it. Like I was talking to another group, and this other kid was like, "Hey, Miss, your shoes still smell like coffee." And I was like, "Yeah,
nice." Well, I mean, if you have them right next to you, you might as well show the camera.
Oh yeah,
because you did all the fancy things. Look at that.
These used to be white.
Yeah. Now
So I was
they're
at my parents
tanned.
today, and in the morning I didn't really talk to my dad, but my mom was just like confused because like yesterday I sent Tara a picture to show her,
Mm-hmm.
and then today my dad was the only one home, and I was like, "So what do you think about my shoes?" When I was getting my dog, and he was like, "Were those new?" Just like
Yes, they
super
were white.
judgmental, but I thought they looked good, so
Yeah, they look good. I'll be
maybe I'll
curious
try
to
to
see how they hold up.
maybe I'll try to bargain bin some shoes and give everyone shoes for Christmas. I mean, I put 2 layers of the acrylic finisher on them. I feel like I should probably spray them with another protectant also. But I mean, the finisher stuff had good reviews. I did satin because I wanted them to be a little bit shiny, but not,
Yeah, not
not
glossy.
like glossy.
Makes sense.
Um, I don't know. I might
Yeah,
still spray them with the just like the stuff I had, the van stuff that I have, but
fair enough.
yeah, I
We'll
like
be
coffee and I like shoes, so
put them both together. Why not?
for sure, man.
Yeah, we'll be kind of all over the place, but I was going to ask you how playing Elden Ring went last night. Did you make some progress?
Oh, I was really pissing me off. I like couldn't beat anyone. Like I tried to beat Godric again.
Mm-hmm. Wait, didn't you
And
beat him?
I got like really close twice.
Oh, I thought you had
And
beaten him.
so I tried again, and then I was only getting like halfway and then dying. So then Keaton tried to come help me, but when he spawned in, it cut his health in half. He only had like 300 hit points. So as
Keaton?
soon as it was
Oh,
like he thinks maybe it's because of the level he is now. He's like in the 60s.
oh,
So like as soon as he'd get hit like once or twice, he'd just be like dead. So it was making it worse because it was making the boss harder.
yeah, no benefit.
Yeah. So then I went and leveled up once. It just sucks because like I still can't beat the dragon. Like I swear it was like not counting my hits. Like I don't know
Mm,
how to beat the dragon. Can't do it. So then I
can't do
went
it.
and got that other part of the map that you have that I didn't, where you have to cross the bridge with the catapult.
Yeah.
And I killed like that guy shooting the big arrows, but I didn't go in the castle because that was where Keaton was all night and it sounded like he was having a bad time. So
Nice.
then I went to the Erd tree and I tried to fight the Erd tree guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept almost killing him and then dying, so that was pissing me off. And I tried to go back to the round table thing to beat the invader looking guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
still can't beat him either. Like he hits me like twice and I die. It's so annoying. So I
Yeah.
wanted to level up one more time because I have my magic stuff at 95 and I want to be able to use my banished knight, and it
Mm,
needs to be 100 for that.
oh, okay.
And I leveled up twice last night, but the first time I leveled up, I forgot that I was trying to do that.
Uh-huh.
So I did dexterity because I want to be able to use these other 2 swords that I have. So by the time I remembered that I was going to do magic, I'd already wasted one of my level ups. And I'm really concerned that the next time I do it, it's only going to go up 4 and then I'm going to have to level up again.
That's
Because it only
usually
went
what it
up
goes.
4 last time. Yeah.
Mm,
And I really just want to beat the freaking Godric guy.
yeah.
And I don't know.
I was in we played on Discord night and I was in a freaking blender all night. There was like a couple places I got to and it was like super long to get to the end. So I kept like dying like 3/4 of the way there. And then there's only one way to get through there and there's like no checkpoint or place in between. So I just kept dying. I lost so many souls that night, or runes, whatever they're called.
It's so
So that was
annoying
rough.
now that I need like 8,000 to level up because, like, I mean, I can just like kill those guards at the gate front
Yeah.
ruins or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and get like a couple thousand each time, but it's just really annoying to beat them or try to find some like troll guys that give you like 1,000 because they're pretty easy to kill.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so annoying.
Yeah, it's almost like it almost goes better when you're not trying to grind. You just go try to go do a new area, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, I have a decent amount of runes.
Yeah,
But when
that's
you're
what I was
trying to
trying to do
level
last
up,
night, but
you get screwed
yeah.
over.
And like the Khalid place or whatever still has like a bunch of big things, but the birds and stuff are still kind of hard. Like I can kill the dog things, but I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff going on over there.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
crazy.
I don't know.
I wonder
I'm
what the
like level
level.
35 or 36, I think.
So I wonder when that like level cap thing starts taking effect, because I'm like 51 now or something. So I guess we'll have to watch out for that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it did it to him the other day when it came in. So it must be like a level that he just recently hit.
Mm-hmm. Or it might be just like if your difference is over 20 or something.
Yeah. But I feel like he's been quite a bit higher than me the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting.
I
Yeah, we don't know. All right, fair enough.
Did you fight Godric yet?
No, I haven't. I got to the place where he was, and then I've been doing some other things. I went and fought a couple other random bosses I found, and when I get sidetracked in an area, I just pretty much go through that whole area as much
I'm
as
more
I can.
obsessed with finding the maps.
Oh yeah, I did find a couple maps. So mine is I do have like the Kaled map, and I've been to the underground now. So that
Where's
was
the
interesting
underground?
too.
I don't think I know about that.
You get to one kind of near an elevator around Kaled. So there's one you can find, and it'll take you down there. Yeah.
Yesterday,
cool
I remembered that I have all these national park patches from my road trip that I never put in my truck.
Oh, look at that.
Because I need to put the Velcro on the back of them, but I was going to super glue it so that it actually stayed. Because when they get hot, sometimes the goo on the Velcro comes off.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any more room up there. I could probably take some of them off. The only one I couldn't get one at was the Grand Canyon. There was no patches.
Oh.
I don't know if they were just like out or if it was because there's two different visitor stations and we were at the north one, I think.
Oh, okay.
I was really flustered by that.
Dang it. Get the
Anyways.
patches. Yeah.
I guess we could talk about Batman, the Batman.
Duh, Batman.
Initially, I wanted to try to do like an angsty, broody intro, but I didn't know how to do that. I felt like I should have practiced it first. Like, hey, everyone. I don't know.
What was that? You sounded like Pennywise the Clown. Hey, everyone.
That was precisely why I didn't do it.
Okay, fair enough. I can see your concern.
So I don't know if we should talk logistics, initial thoughts. This guy's glow up.
Glow up?
I don't know.
Let's talk logistics. We'll talk numbers first, and then we'll get into the fun stuff.
I didn't really make notes. I just opened IMDb and left it open.
Solid.
So we were talking about the Batman, which came out in theaters on March 4th, 2022, but we're lame and both waited to watch it until it was on HBO.
Yeah.
So potentially not our normal type of Thursday where we pick a movie that's supposed to be bad.
We like to mix it up. We watch good movies every now and then.
Box office. Opening weekend, US and Canada. $134 billion.
Ooh,
March 6th. Or no, opening weekend ended March 6th. Okay. Gross worldwide, $759 billion.
Is that million or billion?
Million, not billion.
Okay. I thought you were saying billion. I was like,
I did.
What?
I did, but that's not what I meant.
Million with an M.
That was the brain misfiring.
Okay, there we go.
One of my spark plugs came out.
Fair enough.
That's happened to me before. And then the gross US and Canada is 367 million. I almost said billion again. I think it's just my brain.
Yeah.
So pretty good.
Pretty good. What was the overall budget?
Oh, I forgot to look that part up. The Batman budget. And the last time there was a Batman movie was the Batman and Superman movie, right?
I think so, yeah. I mean, if you don't count like Justice League.
Yeah, but was there ever a Ben Affleck movie that was just Batman? There wasn't, right? It was just Batman versus Superman. There's been no Batman movies since The Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yeah, just strictly Batman, no.
Okay. It says here on Forbes.com that the Batman cost $185 million.
Oh, they did really well then. That's the case.
Yeah.
Making dollars, millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. So they made like 4 times what they spent ish. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't argue about that. Especially, it seems like movies are kind of coming back after the pandemic. You know, there was like a period where they weren't doing so great. Now they're kind of.
I think it's kind of like a slow roll back in. The ball is slowly rolling up.
Yeah.
Anyone out there watches Dimension 20, they'll get my reference.
Nice.
But I mean, I looked at movies the other day because I was like, oh, I haven't been to a movie for a long time. And I had actually wanted to see this in theaters, and then I kind of like forgot because I keep forgetting about movies, which is weird because like we've gone to so many movies. Like we used to go to movies all the time. You know,
all the
because
time.
we've barely had to pay for movies since high school. So
yeah, it's been
free
pretty
movies.
awesome.
But so by the time I thought about it again, it wasn't really in theaters anymore. And it's just so weird to look at like the Richland Fairchild and see like each movie have like 2 to 4 max showtimes when before it was like literally like all day for like big movies.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's like you want to see the best movie, you gotta either come right now or later.
Yeah. Okay. So this movie was directed by Matt Reeves, who is most known for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes, as well as Cloverfield, which I think is the first movie that ever made me motion sick in theaters due to the shakiness of the camera.
Very shaky cam. They took that to new levels.
Yeah, because I remember being like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
Apparently he's 5'9.5". I don't know why that's on IMDb, but
Matt Reeves.
yeah.
Oh.
So obviously he's got some other stuff and he's produced stuff too, but those are the most, well-known movies out of that list.
Yeah.
It stars our boy Rob here as Bruce Wayne / the Batman. Not this version of Rob though. This version of Rob.
Yeah, the dirtier one.
The Fallout Boy version of Rob.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously he was in Twilight and Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, he was Cedric in Harry Potter.
Yeah. So we got him. Let's see. Playing the Riddler, we have Paul Dano, who looked really familiar to me, but I didn't really recognize him in anything that he's been in. So I don't know if he just like looks familiar to me.
Yeah, I looked at him and I was like, I have no idea who this guy is. So it was like the first time I think I've
he's
seen
been
him.
in Cowboys and Aliens, which I know I wanted to watch, but I honestly don't think I ever did. And everything else just seems really obscure.
Yeah.
You've got Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle / Cat, technically Catwoman, right?
Yes.
And she's been in kind of some stuff, but not really. Apparently, in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, she voices Mary Jane.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. She's also in Fantastic Beasts.
Okay.
And plays Christina in Insurgent. And I don't even know who that is, and I've never seen the movie version of the book, so
no idea.
She's in a lot of stuff. You got some names. You got Colin Farrell, John Turturro, who also looked really familiar to me, but I don't know if he just looks familiar to me or if he's been in stuff.
Which one was John Turturro?
Carmine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't Colin Farrell the Penguin?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that was it. He looks so different.
Yeah. When I was like confused because I knew he was supposed to be in the movie, and then when I looked at it afterwards, I was like, what?
Yeah, wait, what?
Like literally, I was so confused by that. But I mean, John Turturro, he's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So, maybe Cheyenne knows him.
She probably does.
But he also, I think, just kind of looks like a familiar guy. I don't really know, honestly.
I think all these guys are familiar, huh?
Sometimes guys just look familiar,
No, fair enough.
The very first thing he was in is called Raging Bull, and he played Man at Webster Hall Table, uncredited.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon.
That was a known guy. I knew him.
Yeah, he also looked really familiar, but I really don't know if I've seen stuff that he's been in.
He's been in a lot of TV series.
Yeah, which is probably why. Oh, that's why he's in the Hunger Games. Okay, I have seen something that he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's the smart guy who does the electric stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not crazy. That guy did look familiar and isn't something I've seen. So we're good there.
Connection.
But that's kind of the main 6 people. So we don't need to talk about anyone else. But pretty all right cast, I think.
Yeah, no, I think it did. They worked very well together. They fit the characters, I think.
What should we jump into next?
I don't know. I guess what were your first thoughts kind of seeing it?
Well, I wrote down my first initial thoughts because I was going to take notes during the movie, but then I ended up meal prepping while I watched it.
Nice.
I thought that it had, okay, I felt like the whole like journaling aspect and dark and broody like voiceover thingy kind of had Edward Cullen vibes.
Yeah, I suppose so. I thought
but I think I just wanted it to,
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of an interesting take because his whole thing was like, I like live in the night and they like all blur together. So he like can't even really remember what happens every night. So he has to like write it down and then rewatch it, which I thought was kind of a different take on it. So
I also thought it was interesting how it was like Halloween in the first day.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, why is literally everyone wearing a mask? And then I was like, I was like, I'm pretty sure Times Square doesn't look like this normally. I mean, whatever Gotham's version of Times Square is, but essentially Times Square.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
So I did find an article that kind of talked about the inspiration, which I guess fits in with this. So it's called, it's an Esquire article by Johnny Davis. And so I just kind of put some of the, I'll read a couple chunks, but this is about Matt Reeves' inspiration for the movie. So apparently he said about a ton of reading and was blown away by the comic Batman Year One, the 1987 4-issue run by writer Frank Miller and artist David Mazzucchelli. That's a very Italian name. That showed a young and in turmoil Bruce Wayne figuring out how to be a vigilante. What? What is wrong with me?
I don't know.
The tone is detective noir. The violence is street level and nasty, and you will search in vain for a feat of superhero daring do or a groaning Mr. Freeze. Allow me to break the ice style pun. Calling Batman Year One realistic would be a stretch, but it is somewhere near as realistic as a comic book about a mentally dubious loner who puts on a disguise and begins hunting criminals come night. This proto-Batman underestimates his opponents, gets shot by the police, and his costume doesn't fit. It's great, and it happens to be my favorite comic book. Other influences on Reeves included new Hollywood classics from the 1970s, The French Connection, Chinatown, and Taxi Driver, also Kurt Cobain. So this is now a direct quote from Reeves.
Okay.
Early on when I was writing, I started listening to Nirvana, and there was something about Something in the Way, which is in the first trailer, which is part of the voice of that character. When I considered how do you do Bruce Wayne in a way that hasn't been seen before, I started thinking, what if some tragedy happened? For example, Wayne seeing his parents murdered, and this guy becomes so reclusive we don't know what he's doing. Is this guy some kind of wayward, reckless drug addict? And the truth is that he is a kind of drug addict. His drug is his addiction to this drive for revenge. He's like a Batman Kurt Cobain.
Fair enough. I can kind of see that.
And apparently Reeves's inspiration for the Riddler was partially based on the Zodiac Killer.
I could definitely see that with the weird mask.
Cryptic notes and stuff. Yeah. So, because he's communicating with the police via ciphers and also the Batman and, yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Reeves's Batman took the shock and awe, to the shock and awe of the internet when it was announced in 2019 as Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, there were very mixed feelings, I think, when it was announced that it was him.
And I read something else in this article, which I didn't copy and paste, but apparently he watched Robert Pattinson in a movie and just was like in the movie Good Time. And was like, he's got an inner kind of rage that connects with this character and a dangerousness, and I can feel this desperation. And he really wanted it to be Robert Pattinson, but he didn't know if he was interested in it or not. And then he found out that he was auditioning for it. And apparently Robert Pattinson was working on another movie and like said he had a family emergency to go to the audition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But then that movie was like directed by Christopher Nolan. And when he came back the next day, or when he came back the day after, he found out that he got the part, he was like, congratulations, even though no, like he didn't tell him that's what he was doing, but like he already knew that he got it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. Anyways, one more thing from that article before I move on was what the Batcave was based on, which I thought was really interesting. So the Batcave in this movie is based on a secret underground railway that still exists in New York. The idea being that some of these wealthy industrialist families had private train cars at the turn of the century. So the Batcave is actually in the foundation of the tower. It was another way of saying, how can we root all these things in things that feel real but also extraordinary?
Yeah, it was a different take on it for sure.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see him try to get down there on his motorcycle, like going through all the stairways and tunnels and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I have some questions just generally about Batman because I don't really understand the whole comic thing and how there's so many different like storylines for like all the superheroes.
Mm.
Does he like always train with the at the monastery place? Like, is that just like standard Batman canon?
Like you mean under like in Christian Bale's
Yeah.
one where he goes to that like temple to train?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think necessarily. I mean, superhero stuff is like all kinds of weird because almost all superheroes they introduce like these alternate timelines and other
Well,
dimensions.
yeah, and like the
So
League of Shadows is like present in like other DC thing, like Arrow.
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, there's always like interaction between the characters, but I don't think everything always happens the same. I mean, if you
Yeah.
can think of it, it's happened in some kind of universe, I think.
Well, at some point, I feel like one of the letters was referring to wasn't the one. So when they're in the place and they're like, and he's like, oh, he's going after Bruce Wayne. Isn't the name a different weird name? And he's like, that's Bruce Wayne. Because I kind of thought that that was supposed to be like his League of Shadows name or something.
I don't think so.
But I don't. I like barely caught the reference, and I like couldn't rewind it. So
The only
I don't know.
thing I recognized there was it was his dad on the TV, and then it was talking about the sins of thy father, and then he put it together. He's like, oh, he's going after me.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the part that like confuses me about superhero stuff, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for example, I'm pretty sure there's like an alternate universe in which instead of Bruce being the survivor, his dad, Thomas Wayne, is the survivor. And then he becomes Batman. So it's like there's all kinds of weird, like one off stories that have been made. So it's all over the place.
Yeah, because there's like the the Marvel one. What are they both called? Metaverses? What are they called?
Yeah, I guess like because they have like Flashpoint or whatever for DC,
Yeah.
which is like all the time travel and all the alternate.
Yeah, because
dimensions,
like
blah,
all
blah,
of
blah.
those people exist, but they're not always the same people. You know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then all the stuff with like his parents was like intense, like the stuff with like people killing like his mom or whoever, and then like the mentally insane part, and I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of
There's a
tried to
lot
make
going
the
on there.
characters more real. It seems like yeah, they're this rich family, but they also had their share of problems. Everything was not perfect. So
Yeah.
mhm.
I don't know, man. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah, I actually was pleasantly surprised, coming into it. And I'll actually give a little shout out to Jackie here because I remember like back a ways after this had been announced, and I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about Robert Pattinson being Batman or whatever. But then she was just like, well, I think it's supposed to be like, like you already said, like a young Batman who's like not
Yeah,
necessarily very good at it yet. And
yeah,
he's
because
like,
it said it was only like 2 years of him being like a
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And I thought they did a good job in like kind of showing that off because he takes like a lot of unnecessary hits and fights. He's not very smooth and stealthy. And like, he uses a parachute one time and it gets caught on like a bridge and he freaking like almost knocks himself out.
Yeah.
So I thought
Yeah.
they did a good job. And I thought that was an interesting take on it. Like a struggling young Batman. And it kind of won me over again.
Yeah. Because usually you get like a more well established Batman.
Yeah. He like is never doing anything wrong. He's always got the good gadgets and everything's working out for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I feel like Robert Pattinson gets a really bad rap for Twilight and honestly, Twilight just sucks.
Twilight's so bad.
And like that was just like his first like thing, so he got like
Yeah.
associated with something that's just like absolute trash.
Mhm. Yeah, he did. It is unfortunate because I do hear from like a lot of people that watch his other movies. They're like, he's actually a good actor. Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with that. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
been in a lot of like indie stuff that I've like never seen. So
Yeah. A few weeks ago, Keaton, Ian, and I watched The Lighthouse, and it has him and Willem Dafoe in it. And that was pretty interesting. It's like way out there. And it's all like black and white and stuff, but it's pretty interesting watch. And it's cool to see him in, other things that aren't Twilight.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also really liked just like the stuff he was interacting with, like his like islands thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like his car was just like a bunch of stuff like put together. And in that
Yeah.
article I was reading, that was kind of like some of the grungy inspiration of him, but him also liking to kind of just like tinker with stuff. So it's not necessarily like nice, which also makes sense if it's only like his second year as like a superhero. Like he's not gonna have like, a Lamborghini.
Yeah, exactly. And it was cool. Like the grungy motorcycle, it's just like a bare bones, but you can tell, it runs good, it runs fast. And then I actually really like the Batmobile because it was like basically a modified version of an actual car that was basically tricked out. So
Yeah.
that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I liked the movie. I'd watch it again. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I also tend to like Batman movies. Like that was like the first superhero, I guess, that I kind of got like into.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. And I was curious about the car, and apparently it is a Tesla powered 1968 to 70 model year Dodge Charger. Yeah.
it did look like a old like a muscle car, so that makes sense.
Yeah. They say it was began life as its Dodge Charger, and that teenage Bruce Wayne drove it in underground street races. So, yeah, there you go.
Some big car lore there.
Oh, yeah. You got to find what you can. So, overall, yeah, I think we both enjoyed it. I was kind of curious what you thought overall of, like, I guess the Riddler. What'd you think of him?
Which part?
Just him as a character, or, anything, I guess.
I mean, I thought that like the cryptic stuff was cool. And I mean, that's in the name, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So like the whole thing there was that he was someone who lived in the orphanage that the Waynes owned.
Right.
I couldn't figure out. I don't think so because he sent a note for the Batman to the Wayne house, but for a while I kept thinking that he knew that Bruce Wayne was the Batman.
Yeah.
Does he?
No. They did that
Okay.
on purpose though, because
Okay,
they
'cause
really made you think he did.
Yeah, I was like really for a second like confused.
Mhm.
And then I was like, well, he wouldn't have sent a note addressed to the Batman if he was killing Bruce Wayne. So that was where I was kind of like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I guess obviously if you're listening to this, you've probably already seen the movie. So spoiler alert. But basically, yeah, the Riddler is like this twisted young kid who loves puzzles. And he spent his time growing up in the orphanage, founded by the Wayne family. And he gets all mad because then everyone in the city is corrupt. And apparently the big plot point is like the renewal fund that the Waynes set up was being used as basically a money laundering front to pay off bribes, to pay cops to be dirty, all of this stuff. So his big crusade was actually to, remove all the corruption, which, normal people can probably see is something that should happen, just not in the way he was doing it. But I thought, though, overall, I thought the Riddler character was good, but his way of talking was like all over the place. I don't know if you noticed that, like the way he would like groan and grunt and like put emphasis on weird parts of sentences. And after he took off his mask, he I mean, this is gonna sound like a knock on him, but he looks like such a dweeb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first thing that Cheyenne said after he took off his mask, he's like, he has a very punchable face.
He kind of does, though.
Yeah. And what I don't understand what the deal was whenever he was doing like monologues from that point on after he had his mask off, he would always do weird stuff with his mouth. I don't know if you noticed that, but he was always like,
that was part of like him kind of supposed to be being like mentally unstable to some extent.
I guess, but why are you going like to the Batman?
I don't know.
I don't know. That part distracted me when he was like talking to him in the cell. I was just like, so I don't know. His mannerisms were very odd, I will say.
Yeah. So basically, but that guy was still young when Thomas and Martha died.
Yeah, because clearly
he was kind of like showing that video of all the bad stuff as a way to almost like tie it into what he was doing now.
The bad stuff, what do you mean?
Well, like, or when he was like explaining like the corruption and all that other stuff with the Waynes, he was kind of doing that as like a showing, I don't know. You know what I mean?
He was, his whole thing was, this whole city has been built by the Waynes. Everyone holds them up on like a silver platter, a silver pedestal, they can do no wrong. His point was, Thomas Wayne, whether he knew it or not, he might not have when he set up that renewal fund, that it was going to be used for such terrible things. And then the other thing was, he's like, oh, you also think this is such an amazing family? Well, look, the mother has mental health issues. She's a little woohoo. And then he ended up going and coordinating with a mob to try to stop a reporter from writing about it. And then the mob guy, went a little off the rails and killed him. So then he had blood on his hands. So he was just trying to prove, he's like, these aren't, you might think they're good people, but they've got bad stuff that they've done as well.
Everyone's got bad stuff that they've done, though.
Yeah. But he was young in the orphanage too. But I think the whole point of him like highlighting, oh yeah, I'm from the orphanage or whatever, was like, that's just another thing that the Wayne family gave this city. But at what cost? Like, what corruption did this cause? Was it done with filthy money? Who knows?
What did you think of the her being in there?
Her being in the movie in general?
Yeah.
I liked her as a character. She was interesting. I did think it was kind of a weird tie-in. It never really explained what her relationship was with Annika.
I know. At first I thought they were lovers, but then she definitely has a crush on Batman. So
yeah. So I don't know if they had just become like friends working in the Penguins bar club, whatever. But yeah, it never really closed the loop on that, which I guess is not a huge deal, but I guess there's a certain amount of mystery that is supposed to be around her.
And then on the end, when she was leaving and he kept looking in the thing, I was like, for sure she was going to turn around and come back.
Oh no, there's no way.
Well, I mean, I knew she wasn't going to, but the way that it kept like having him like look at the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was just waiting for him to crash. He was looking at that rearview mirror for like 30 seconds. I was like, dude, you have no idea where you're going right now.
That's true. Today there was like a little spider like going up and down in front of my vision, and it was tripping me out. Like, I'm not really like bothered by spiders, but I could just like see it. So then I rolled down the window because I was going to try to hit it out. But as soon as I rolled down the window, it just like blew out the window. And I was like, well, I took care of that.
Easy come, easy go.
So I relate.
What did you think of the Catwoman's like mask? What was the deal with that? It was like a chopped off ski hoodie that only covered her nose.
I honestly don't even think I noticed.
Oh my gosh, it looks so weird. But she had some wild claws. You see those fingernails on her? Holy cannoli. And I thought it was really funny because she rides a motorcycle and her motorcycle gloves had like holes cut in the fingertips so her claws could stick out.
Oh, you're right. That is a weird mask. Maybe I was just distracted by the tight-fitting leather outfit.
Yeah, it's like at that point you might as well not even wear it. It's like only covering your nose.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of COVID.
Yeah. Just cover.
I mean, first gen. I mean, they didn't have money. Their bills were overdue. You got to work with what you got to work with.
Well, and like you said, if it's obviously early in both of their careers, they don't really. I mean, he has a fancy suit because he's loaded, but she's just kind of a thief at this point. So she's just getting money. But overall, I thought as a character, she did the Zoe Kravitz did very well. I think she acted out the part pretty good. Yeah, I did think it was a little dramatic, the amount they were like saving each other in like the last few fights, but superhero.
Oh yeah, has Batman always had like Witcher juice? I don't know how else to describe that.
So yeah, my first thought was, so Batman gets knocked down, he gets put down by like a shotgun blast, and he has an amazing suit, by the way. He was getting shot constantly in this, and not one bullet made it through. But he gets shot with a shotgun, gets blasted back, he's almost unconscious. Then Selena gets attacked after saving him, and this guy's about to kill her. And he pulls out his little green juice. My first thought is it's like some kind of adrenaline thing. But what I'm betting is it's probably ultimately the stuff that Bane uses to juice up and go crazy. If you're familiar with that character, he's got the tanks and he hits the button and he goes wild. The new Bane in the Christopher Nolan films didn't really show that. But old school, he had that like very bright green juice that just pumped into his body and it just made him like the Hulk. So I'm betting that that's something to do with it. Yeah. But then because he basically goes crazy and then he saves her and he just starts beating the piss out of this guy just over and over again. And then Gordon has to stop him. So he loses control.
Yeah. I was just not expecting that, I guess.
Yeah. And at the end with Catwoman, I guess when she's trying to convince him to go with her after everything's done, she's like, you don't have to stay here and protect this city. It's going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was kind of funny how she basically snubbed his kiss. He was like going to lean in and like kiss her. He's just like, nah, I'm leaving.
Yeah. She said something about how she expected that he had someone to go home to.
Yeah, she's like, I suspect that you're already taken, which was by the city because they looked up at the bat signal, you know. His mistress is the city.
Yes, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what I was thinking in my head. She was like his mistress, and I was like, the city.
Yep.
So I clicked on the trivia section on IMDb, where it just gives you like random facts, you know?
Yeah.
Apparently, Robert Pattinson took sneakily took a selfie in his bat suit as a memento, just in case he didn't get it while auditioning for the role.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You actually go audition in the Batman suit? That's kind of crazy.
I guess maybe for some of them you might, because you have to, if they want like a certain look, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Colin Farrell said that his son was utterly horrified at the sight of his transformation into Penguin during production.
I bet.
When my kid saw me for the first time, he was utterly horrified. I have it on iPhone.
Yeah, kudos to the people who did up his makeup, because like I said, he didn't even look like Colin Farrell anymore. And like his face and everything was done very well. And
yeah,
he was an interesting character. That was probably the closest they got to comedy in the movie, was like lines from the Penguin. So that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. He also apparently wore his prosthetics and makeup for the Penguin to Starbucks to try it out, and nobody recognized him, but he got a lot of stares.
Yeah, I bet. Holy cow, this guy looks like he came out of a meat grinder.
Yeah. Wow.
Harsh, bro.
I also think I read somewhere that there's supposed to be 2 sequels and then 2 spin-off HBO Max series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I wonder if one of them is going to be a Catwoman series, maybe.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Because she kind of left to go do her own thing. You know what I'm still disappointed about? It's JGL being handed the reins and then nothing happening.
Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robin. He was famously Robin for 13 seconds of the movie.
Yeah. Because we were all, that was big into the Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like the coolest guy ever phase.
They missed the window.
Yeah. Whoa. Apparently, when Ben Affleck was set to star and direct, the villain of the film would have been Deathstroke, played by Joe Manganiello. He likes D&D.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. Should I read the reviews I found? I think I have like 6 of them.
Yeah, before you do that,
okay.
How do you think it stacks up to Nolan's? Which one is Nolan still your favorite, Christian Bale?
I mean, I feel like it's just hard to compare since they're different. like they're not like the same like take on Batman, you know? Like I feel
Sure.
like I feel like I'll be better able to decide that after there's a sequel. Because honestly, I like The Dark Knight the best, and that's the second
True.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not as much of a fan as Batman Begins, I don't think. And I mean, I feel like part of what makes the Dark Knight movie so good is Heath Ledger. So
right.
I don't know. I guess I feel like I need more.
Yeah. And that's a fair assessment.
And I have a really hard time picking favorites for things. Like I can justify my way out of two things should be considered good because they're different. I feel like that's my like analytical English major brain, because it's so hard for me to pick like favorite music and stuff, because I feel like it's all like different for like a respective reason that it's just impossible to like, you know.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I definitely want to see more. I enjoyed the movie. I will say, I think so far, Christopher Nolan's Batman still wins for me. And I will say the only real complaint I had about this movie was the pacing seemed pretty slow at some points. It is like, you know, famously 2 hours and 56 minutes long. It is a long movie.
That's like
And
how long all movies are now.
Yeah, but I feel like they could have done everything they wanted to a little quicker. I get there's like, you know, a decent pacing and they wanted to go a little slower, analyze like, you know, the clues from the Riddler, which I enjoy, but it did feel a little drawn out by the end. Because it was always like you got to the end, you know, they caught the Riddler, and it's like, this isn't over yet. And then there were like at least one more of those, like, oh no, this isn't over yet again. And so they could have done with one less of those, I think.
That's true. There were a couple of points where I was like, oh, the movie's got to be almost over now. And then I checked and there was still like over an hour.
It's like, oh, there's still 50 minutes left. Nice.
Yeah. But I feel like it wasn't like so slow that I felt like bored or like, you know what I mean? Like it was like kind of slow, but it wasn't like bad slow, I guess.
I agree. There was definitely a purpose to all this slowness, like, you know, outside of other movies that are just long and feels like they have no point. And then, but I really like the music. You know, they use the Nirvana in it, and a lot of the mood music was pretty good. I liked the music they used for, you know, dramatic Batman entrances when he was like doing the slow walk and everything like that. I had one thing and I just lost it, I think. Oh, it was like, and I also thought it was very extreme. The Riddler's whole goal, I mean, ultimately had bombs all over the city that went off, and it like flooded the whole city. It's like, that is such an extreme way to end a first movie.
I feel like that's a very Gotham City thing, though, where like something happens to just kind of try to completely like destroy the city. I don't know why, but I feel like this is like,
well, that is kind of how it's been. Like the last, I mean, Christopher Nolan one, you think about the first one Begins, they had that like gas all over the city. People were going insane. The Dark Knight was less bad. It was more just general destruction. But then you think about the third one with Bane and everything was blown up. I mean, they were destroying the whole city.
Because the second one is more like general, like crime running more rampant. Like Gotham is known for having like rampant criminal activity, but that was like next level.
Yeah, that was taking it up to 10 for the Joker, you know?
Because Gotham is like a darker version of New York. I feel like compared to how the other cities are alternate versions, I feel like Gotham is like way more like it's supposed to be it's supposed to be like the seedy, you know, kind of the nasty underbelly place where you have the high highs and the very low lows. Yeah.
So
fun COVID fact, apparently filming began in January of 2020 in London and then was put on hold on March 25th, 2020.
Right.
And then after a 5-month hiatus, shooting began again in late August, but then after 2 days, Robert Pattinson tested positive for COVID, so they had to stop shooting for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
Oh gosh.
And so then they finally finished shooting on March 12th.
Wow.
2021. So 14 months after they initially began filming.
Jeez. Yeah, that really put a stopper on everything.
Yeah. Apparently that song, Something in the Way, was never released as a single and never a consistent part of the band's live set list. But it charted for the first time in August of 2020 after appearing in the first trailer for the Batman
There you go. Nice.
Yeah. And the song has seen a reported 1,200% increase in Spotify streams.
Wow, crazy. Well, that makes sense.
All right, let's get on to the
some reviews.
Yeah, the reviews. So I've got a couple ones, a 3, and then a 5 and a 10. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Some of them are short because I couldn't find any cool ones like about Modelos or
yeah,
anything like that. But this one's a 1 out of 10.
Oh my god, really?
All caps title: the worst Batman ever.
Wow.
I advise you to take antidepressants before you start watching this movie. It is so bad, dark, and boring, and the vampire dude is the worst Batman ever.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Harsh, bro.
94 out of 144 found this helpful.
More for comedy purposes, I guess.
Okay, here's another 1 out of 10. I want my money back.
Wow.
This is the worst movie I've seen since the Blair Witch Project. Thankfully, that wasn't 3 hours long like this horrible excuse for a Batman movie. The writer, director, and producers will hopefully never work again. Terrible music score, horrible acting, no plot other than white privilege. Batmobile looked like a junk car, and Batcycle was a regular motorcycle. Waste of time and money. 36 out of 48 found this helpful.
Wow.
I feel like that person just doesn't understand things. Because also Blair Witch Project is pretty good for the movie.
Yeah, Blair Witch was notably a very good movie for what it was.
Yeah. And like terrible music score. Okay. No plot other than white privilege.
And and his comment on the bike that, he was driving a normal motorbike. But then at the end, in the last scene, you saw he had like a nice newer, it was like a bat cycle at the end. But he was driving as a normal bike before because that's what he has.
Also, no plot other than white privilege. Do you know anything about Batman? Because that's like the foundational thing for Batman.
Yeah, it's like corrupt.
Like he has like money because of his family. Like same thing with Oliver Queen. That's just like part of like what do you want?
Yeah.
You can't change that part.
No, I mean, I don't know how white privilege relates to the rest of it, but
yeah. Okay. Anyways, one more 1 out of 10 because this one just didn't really make sense to me. Kind of. Some parts of it, you'll see why. I've also never seen the movie 7 that was referenced a lot. What is that movie?
It's a movie about I think it's Brad Pitt and Denzel Washington, but they're detectives and they're hunting a serial killer.
Yeah. Okay. So 7 ripoff with racism added. Just invert the roles, make everyone black, white, and everyone white, black, but keep the same exact script. Do you think Holly Woke would allow you to even shoot that movie? Get woke, go broke. I assure everyone that this movie will follow the same path as Disney's Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Everyone will be fooled into love it at first, but after analyzing it, people will gradually start to hate it. 61 out of 92 found this helpful.
Oh, wow.
I think we all know that that's the type of Karen in the comments from Facebook, right, in that review.
And giving the helpful thumbs up.
Yeah. Anyways, that one, just some of the wording, I was like, I don't know what you're trying to say here, but I think I'm going to get woke, go broke tattooed. So
nice. Hardcore.
Yeah. All right. I got a 3 out of 10. This one's pretty long, but since the first 3 were short, I'll probably read it. So 3 out of 10 by Shaw Thing Productions. I like slow burn. This was just a duel. I went in with ultra low expectations because I think Robert Pattinson is a god-awful actor, and this film took my expectations and made me promptly realize that you can always go lower. I'm actually angry I wasted 3 hours of my life, and trust me, every minute of that time was felt. However, let's have some positives. Cinematography is great, and the music is fantastic. The opening scenes with the Batman made me think I was going to have another Heath moment and be forced to eat my words because those opening scenes are indeed something special. But then the film gets going. Part Saw ripoff and so desperately wants to be 7 in its execution, the story dragged. You don't care about any of the characters, and I found myself pining for Clooney and his bat nipples and Mr. Freeze.
Nice.
When, what I found really funny, though, is the producer of this utter mess got in touch with Nolan and warned him, "We're going to make a better Batman than you. No, just no." Like the last Lord of the Rings film, this has an ending that just keeps on coming. Something wraps up and you start to get ready to leave, the film continues. Something else is wrapped up and you think, that's it, and it keeps going. Something else, and on and on and on. I can see why the guy in the seat nearby racked up a massive line of coke and snorted it midway through. And no, I'm not joking. Welcome to Southampton.
Wow.
With regards to the plank of wood, Pattinson, in the initial scenes, I was genuinely excited. Never a fan of his costume before, seeing it here, suddenly I got it. He proper beats down on someone in a vicious attack. They get back up. In fact, everyone he bat punches gets back up and just attacks him from behind again. There's no real threat there here. When Bale smacked someone down, they stayed dead. But then, when Bale stripped off, same as Affleck, they were built. Robert looked like me, and I looked like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. A skeletal mess with no beef there whatsoever. In fact, when Robert bent over in one topless scene, his bones stuck out, and I thought wings were going to pop out. But then, why wouldn't they when he infamously said he refused to bulk up for the role? I would have sacked him there and then. His time as Bruce is strictly limited, thank God, so you can't really judge him for that. As Bruce, he just stands there and looks confused. As the Batman, by the end, he became a parody. His Batman voice changed to the same sound as the joke Batman in the College Humor videos. A is for Alfred equals genius. Wait, a College Humor video? When he was mad, it just looks like he was pulling a cum face. And don't even get me started on the Adrian Mole diary keeping that's going on with the voiceover narration. Honestly, with the exception of the opening 10 minutes or so, I have never hated a film so much as I did this, and given I went in with low expectations, even I am surprised at how fuming I am at myself for wasting my time on it.
Wow. Well, he must not have seen all the videos you and I have seen.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the worst.
I feel like also a lot of that is him not understanding that it's supposed to be Batman is like a relatively new superhero.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be jacked and 280 yet. He's been doing this for a couple of years. He still had muscle. He was pushing around like that table, and you could see he had pretty good back definition and stuff like that. Yeah, he's not got a six pack and can bench 300 pounds, but he wasn't skeletal.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know. I mean, I think he's being compared to people because didn't Christian Bale do a lot of martial arts or something training too?
But I feel Christian Bale goes crazy. If they want him to bulk for a role, he will get jacked.
Yeah. But I also feel like if they really cared about him bulking for this role, then he either would have not gotten the part or he would have done it.
Yeah. I mean, he is I think Keaton's mentioned it when we watched Twilight. He is one of the guys that famously does not like to bulk or cut for roles, Robert Pattinson, which is fine. I mean, like you mentioned, the director had this role in mind for him.
Yeah. And he doesn't even take his shirt off in the movie, so.
Who?
Robert Pattinson.
Yes, he does.
In this movie?
Yes. Did you miss that whole scene? He's shirtless while he's doing all that research on renewal in his house and spray painting the floor.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot.
Fair enough.
But he's not taking his shirt off and fighting, so that's fine.
Well, no. Batman usually doesn't because he has a suit.
Whatever. Anyways, I'm just saying that he's a new Batman. He doesn't need to be strong.
Yeah, and I agree. He's not going to be refined.
And I also feel like there's a lot of superhero movies where the superhero just gets beat on so bad that they can't get back up until they have help.
Yeah, there's a few of those. And I mean, I think I said that already. I thought it was kind of interesting that, he's not one hit KOing people because he's not refined, and he's going to take hits. He's going to get beat up until he figures it out.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen how much Oliver Queen gets beat up?
Yeah. All the time.
Okay. 5 out of 10. This one's pretty short. Okay. There was a lot of 5 out of 10s. The Try Hard Batman movie. Everything about this movie is trying too hard. The overdramatic score, the long shots on characters' faces, The overacting, the complex crime story, it all feels it's trying to get an Oscar in every moment. It's overly long, drawn out, and the story feels like a generic crime saga that has the Batman universe shoehorned into it. This movie is not a masterpiece, but it spends a lot of effort making you think it is.
All right. I will say back to that other review, though, I did kind of agree that he's much better when he's Batman than when he's Bruce Wayne. When he was just Bruce Wayne, I do agree he was like kind of awkward, but he was kind of supposed to be.
I feel like,
I
feel like he was supposed to be. Yeah. Because I mean, Batman's like always reclusive. And if he's still supposed to be like younger, then he's not as good at like
balancing.
Yeah. Although I will say that I absolutely hated his Bruce Wayne hair. That was like the one thing that I absolutely like did not like.
Yeah, when he would just have the normal long bangs in his face, like he looked way better. Like in that other picture you had when he had just taken off his
disheveled hair. Yeah,
like that looks way better than that weird.
I purposely didn't download any of the images with his Bruce Wayne hair because I hated it so much.
Yeah, he did have like the very long little tendrils that go right in front of his eye, but I didn't mind his like you said, disheveled Batman look.
Yeah. All right, I've got 10 out of 10.
Woo!
Pattinson can remove Twilight from his resume. I hesitate to say that a movie is perfect, especially after a first viewing, but gosh dang if this isn't close. And boy, does it earn its beefy 3-hour runtime. Batman has always meant to be a film noir, and it's incredible to me that we haven't seen this before now. This is a mystery crime drama film that happens to feature Batman, and it's beautiful. It's dripping with gritty atmosphere. Gotham is a bleak, decaying world in this film, and it has never been shown to this extent, nor with this level of visual prowess. Any shot in this movie would be considered the best shot in any other superhero movie. If this isn't at least in contention for every cinematography award, then awards will officially have lost all meaning to me. The story is a puzzle, like all good crime mysteries, and the puzzle pieces place themselves together at a very satisfying rate. It's so efficiently paced, making 3 hours feel like far, far less. Boasting one of the most intelligent scripts ever seen in a superhero movie, the Batman has minimal exposition and yet is still stuffed to the brim with subtle thematic depth and small but satisfying character arcs. Batman changes in his worldview throughout this movie, and I've never seen it done this effectively in a Batman film. Things become personal to him in such a believable way. I felt it even amidst the chaotic plot that's untangling itself around the character. Many will compare this film to The Dark Knight, but that's not fair. This is an entirely different beast going on a completely different journey. This is cinema, and it's cinema at one of its finest moments. Matt Reeves has cemented himself as one of the world's greatest working filmmakers, and I love that he's putting his talents to work in popular genres, elevating them to greater heights.
Wow. That's high praise.
I felt like it was very motivational at the end.
Yeah. What's up? Okay.
What's up?
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. The movie.
Not the review so much, but I like the movie too. Yeah. And I'm gonna be curious what they do in the future with it, because they do have the Joker that made a brief little appearance in there. But that should be interesting, because I've seen like clips of him and his makeup, and he looks wild.
Did it say when? I guess they haven't officially announced that there's a sequel, but they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be, but I don't think anything's been known about it yet.
I don't want to wait until 2027. I hope it's before that. Jesus.
Oh, 5 years. Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
How Batman? What was the 2005, and then what, like 2008
or 9?
Yeah, so 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured instead of a knowledge quiz, which my students keep getting mad at me for saying that, because they're like, "Why would you call it that? Isn't a quiz to test your knowledge?"
A knowledge quiz.
Yeah. I figured we could do a BuzzFeed. Which villain from the Batman matches your personality?
Okay. Let's see what we get here.
Yeah. So first we have to pick a Schumacher Batman villain.
Yeah, and we got Tommy Lee Jones, Two-Face. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. And Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman.
Hmm.
It's rough, but I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Freeze.
I'm picking Two-Face.
Oh snap!
Oh man, I don't know which word to pick here. Pick a word that best describes you. Angsty, dominant, or funny. I feel like I could be angsty or funny.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not really dominant. Maybe depending on my mood, I could be angsty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be angsty.
Do you feel like I'm more funny or more angsty?
Depends on the day.
I know. Which one do you think I am more often?
Funny.
Okay. Pick a Marvel villain.
Oh, what, we crossing the streams here? What's going on?
Ultron. Hela.
Hela.
Who is that?
Like the actress or like the villain?
The villain.
The villain, she's from Thor. She was the one that like came and broke Thor's hammer.
I guess it's been a long time since.
Yeah, what is that? Is that Ragnarok? I think so. Yeah.
I haven't watched just the normal Thor movie in so long. And then Thanos. I'm gonna pick Ultron.
I'm gonna pick Hela because yeah.
Ooh, maybe someday we should watch all of the Marvel movies in the order you're supposed to watch them and then talk about it.
I was talking to Keenan about this the other night. I was like, one of these weekends that I'm not doing anything, maybe after I have my surgery, actually, we just like sit down, and I was just thinking about taking it where I left it because I stopped at Infinity War. I haven't seen Endgame or anything newer. So I was like, maybe I should just start there and see how far I get.
Sometime I should watch the Spider-Man movies because I haven't really ever watched a Spider-Man movie. Like
not even like the Tobey Maguire ones.
I think I've maybe seen like one of like with you guys once. Is there one with the Sandman in it?
Yeah,
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I think that's number 3. Is that the third one? I think it is the third one. Arguably the worst Tobey Maguire one.
Okay, pick a priority. Power, attention, or money? Oh no.
Money,
I'm all about that cash.
I know.
I say that. Said so. I say that like every week.
All about that cash.
Okay, that's what I'm picking. I also don't really want. I don't really want power. Pick a former Catwoman: Michelle Pfeiffer, Halle Berry, or Anne Hathaway. I think I'm gonna pick Halle Berry.
I'm gonna go with Anne Hathaway.
Pick a weapon.
Yeah, these are weird options. Your fist, your mind, or your friends. My friends are my weapon.
Oh, well, I would like to think that my friends are strong. I think I'm going to pick my mind.
I'll pick my fist then.
Okay. Pick a Nolan Batman villain. Ra's al Ghul, Joker, or Bane. I'm going to pick Joker because I was just talking about this.
You got to pick Joker in that list. Got to.
Pick one thing you can't live without. Oh, no.
These are all fairly important things.
A car, especially to me, and the internet.
I'm going to go with a car myself. I like my cars.
I can't pick. I'm going to go with the internet. Pick a Disney villain.
Wow, we are all over the board here.
Cruella, Jafar, and Scar. I'm going to pick Scar just because The Lion King was my favorite movie.
I'm going to pick Jafar. Oh, yeah.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I kind of think I'm both, but I'm more introvert leaning.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an extrovert, so I'm going introvert.
I feel like I can be extroverted when I have to be, but then I'm not naturally. Do you feel like that means I'm an introvert?
Probably, yeah. I would say you'd probably be more introverted.
Finally, pick a former Batman. Oh, well, I'm going to go with Christian Bale, obviously.
You have to. You got to go with Christian Bale, but the other choices were Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen any of the old Batman movies. I mean, I know I've seen some of them.
Yeah. All right. Who'd you get?
I got the Riddler.
Oh, so did I. Lame.
Why does it always do this to us?
We picked only 2 things like the same, too.
I know. You are an introvert who feels most at home inside the internet. And you didn't even pick the internet.
That's true.
You have strong beliefs and you're not afraid to share them. You like people to think you're a loner, but you wouldn't mind having a friend or two who share your interests. You're intelligent, precise, and full of ideas. Honestly, the only thing that I feel like I relate to in that is the last sentence. I mean, maybe a little bit the second sentence, but I don't really want people to think I'm a loner. So I don't know.
Oh, that's like the third sentence technically, but I get you.
No, I said the second sentence and the last sentence. The third sentence, I feel like I don't agree with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So yeah, we're both the Riddler, I guess.
We
now
are
we have
smart,
to make
so
riddle me this, Batman.
hey, let's both send the text message at the same time to the group chat that says "Riddle me this, Batman."
All right. Let's see how
I'll
this
type
goes.
it. Let's type it, and then we'll send it at the same time.
Okay, I gotta make sure I find the group text. Here it is.
Okay. Make sure you capitalize the R and the B. It's gotta be exactly the same.
Riddle with M-E is capitalized?
No, I mean capital Riddle and capital Batman. Just the first letter. Capital R and capital B.
Riddle me this. Riddle me this, Batman. And just with a question mark?
At the end or a space in between?
At the end.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, send.
Send.
Okay. They're going to be so confused.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten yours yet, but that's fine.
Well, I haven't gotten yours yet. So
I got it already.
Oh, okay.
Either they're all going to be confused or no one's going to respond. So
yeah, and they're going to be like, oh, they're just talking about Batman. It's probably what they're going to do.
All right. Well, I guess we can kind of wrap this one up. If you haven't seen the Batman, you should go watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually going to ask you
me.
You, yeah. Not the listener. Sorry, listener. This is not for you. I was going to ask
your
you
headphones. Okay.
What your rating is for this one. It's always a hard question when it comes to Kendra. So you never really know what you're going to get here.
12 out of 10.
12 out of 10. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay. If you want like a real number, like a non-Kendra scale, just a normal scale.
Well, riddle me this, Batman, first of all. If you give this one a 12 out of 10, what do you give the Dark Knight?
15.
I see. We're going to go in circles on this one.
Okay. Regular ratings, I think I would give this an 8.5, and I think I would give the Dark Knight a 10 out of 10.
Okay. I mean, that's reasonable.
Yeah. But if we're going on my scale of where something has to be so bad that it's good, then something that's good needs to be above thing. It needs to be 120% to make it be a good movie.
Okay.
I know that all the listeners are following along with that.
Yeah, they definitely understand exactly what you're trying to say here.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of on the same ish page as you.
Mm-hmm.
I would give probably The Dark Knight a 10 out of 10. And I'm struggling on what to give this one here because a 7 feels too harsh. Because I did enjoy it. But at the same time, I don't know. I want to be like, I think I'm going to go 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. You're back.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10. I agree that 10 out of 10, Dark Knight. I would probably go 8 or 9 out of 10 for The Dark Knight Rises with Bane. That one was a little not quite as good. And then I'd probably give an 8 to Batman Begins. And I think this one just isn't quite there yet. I think it has potential. And I enjoyed the different take on it, but that's where I sit.
It's got so much potential, man.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to put a plug in?
What the hell to put the plug in? Oh, well, I mean, not that anyone's going to care about it, but we're going to do a little nerd swap meet on the 30th, and we're going to sell things here locally. So that won't pertain to anyone, but
unless you live in the lower valley or whatever you call it.
The Lewis Clark Valley.
Yep. Yeah, that.
Yeah. So you ought to do that. Let us know what you think. Buy some things, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
And I'm going to plug Jake Polino on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram because he's got cool shoe ideas. Oh, and I kind of want to tweet or take a video and post it at him and see if he replies, but he probably won't.
You never know.
So that's Jake, JakePolino, Jake Polino.
Hey.
And he like angry yells into the camera.
Oh, jeez.
Microphone, not into the camera.
I'm
also going to plug myself again, www.brokenbow-shop.com/shop to roll all your Nat 20s.
Roll all your Nat 20s. Go buy them all. I don't know when your next update is or when the last one was, but.
Well, I still have like 8 sets in stock, so.
They go buy them.
No presumed date for a new update because I don't have time for that right now.
Oh, okay. Well, make her make time for it by buying all of them.
Yeah, make it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And like usual, you can like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Download the episodes. Share us with your friends and family, your friends who are your family who's more like friends and family. Follow us on all of our socials at 5MMPOD. Tweet about us using the hashtag 5MMPOD. I haven't been posting on TikTok lately, but maybe I'll do that again. And Scott likes to tweet at you.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I do. So, hey, I get a solid 3 to 4 a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can also send us an email to 5FIVE moreminutespod@gmail.com with topic suggestions, comments, letters from yourself, letters to yourself. You want help with something? Send us an email. We've got time.
You want help with basic algebra? Send it our way.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I say all the things? I think I said all the things.
I think you said all the things. I think with that, we are free to clock out till next time.
Yeah. Oh, and you can check out our website that we don't really post on at bit.ly/5MMPOD.
Oh, yeah. Give us a reason to post there, though.
Yeah. Subscribe to our email list so we can send emails.
Yeah. We can spam
you. I dare everyone to set this image of Rob Pat.
Yeah.
To all of your friends and family's computer wallpapers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just do it. Or your coworkers. We don't care.
Yeah. Whoever's account you have access to, just log in. If you're an IT person, prank everyone. Make this the default, There
you go. Yeah. Let him give you these eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's time for me to go now. Bye.
See ya. All right, later.